Welcome to the live stream. I literally got up from bed 15 minutes ago. I didn't wake up then, but I went out yesterday. So me having this alarm and this commitment helped because I was very much enjoying being in bed. And I went to bed at, I don't even know, maybe after 3:40 a.m. Went out to a karaoke bar, so I was yelling, dancing, I guess singing to a certain extent. So again, it's one of those moments where I'm like, I'm so glad I made this commitment, because there's no way I would have worked on my comic today if I hadn't made a public promise of to the YouTube channel that I was gonna do it. And I was even promoting it yesterday. I guess I didn't think I would have so much fun to stay so late, but I don't know, I just didn't think of anything. That's one of the reasons of the live stream's hour. To me, this is late a little. But God. And I'm someone that I tend to have a very fixed sleep schedule. I know that's what works for me. So thank goodness my body, no matter how little I sleep, wakes up early, relatively. I can go back. Shit. Okay, here it is. Hello everyone that's here, making your projects. So yesterday's game, let's talk about that later. Yeah, my brain and my voice are barely working, but I'm glad my voice is back to normal. Yesterday I was a little hoarse. I don't know how to say it, but well, I was having a very delicious tea that was warming my throat because there was no way. I was even coughing a little, and I'm not sick at all, thank goodness. Just from yelling. I'm so glad it went well. I organized the event, so seeing my friends having fun was very important. I still remember the period when I was younger and I was shyer and I couldn't even begin to imagine that I was gonna be the one to organize events and people would actually go. The fact that I made my own friends, the fact that I invited people to coffee just to be friends, girlfriends. I learned my lesson in engineering, or I don't know if it was because of the age of the people there, but I really wanted female friendships and just girlfriends. And I do have lots of friends from both genders, but it's easier to not create weird expectations if you invite girls to coffee than if you invite guys. And yeah, it was awesome. The fact honestly, I was doing, I know this a little intense or a little harsher than it needs to. But I don't know, I was having fun doing it. But yeah, I should stop at when. It was more for these panels. It's gonna be easier when I have the whole ambient light. So in this, she's waking up from a dream/memory. I feel like in a comic, I don't see that trope. That's more common in books, or I haven't seen a lot of it, where you have a dream for no reason but to do some weird foreshadowing or symbolic thingy. And it depends on the book, but sometimes those dreams are so useless. It's like, oh, it's obvious that you're writing a book because you can spare word count. And there are others where I do enjoy it. Or even my favorite author at the moment, he may have some maybe borderline useless dreams. I guess it's not useless because it reminds you, like, oh yeah, there's this danger approaching, and the enemy is there. So I guess it does have a purpose to remind the reader of the stakes, I guess. Me changing my mind as usual on things. I don't know, if someone proves to me that I'm wrong, I'm very quick to go to change my mind. Oh my god, my poster. Hello, Charm. Why would you want to? Oh, what? What part? I don't remember. You did the dream foreshadowing? Did you? I don't remember it in your comic right now. I remember them going to the cemetery. And I remember August, the main character, falling, the sister asking for help, him being interviewed by the police at some point, maybe. I'll try to say things so others read your comic that I will probably link down below again, but without going too far. Thank you for being here, Charm. Are you working on something? I know you said you had packed a lot, so maybe you're unpacking. Who knows? And you have been working like 12-hour shifts, right? So I wonder how that's going for you. God, I don't know where I'm going. At one point, I promise I will learn how to color properly. I don't care for this to be perfect because I'm gonna, with the ambient light, I do a lot of work. Okay, let's split this up for a little and then I'll check comments. I'm discovering why people have the two monitors and they have the comments in another window, and I should have done that maybe, because that way you see them in real time instead of switching windows, which is what I have to do to see the comments, which obviously makes it so I'm slower. And I guess I can do it now with the iPad, but yeah, I should have. I forgot about the live stream today, if I can be honest. I was completely in bed and then I had an alarm and I was like, why do I have an alarm? Oh, the live stream. And I was in pajamas, totally not very visible. I was like, okay, let's see. I did promise I was gonna show up, so. In the previous version of the comic, I had this bed with patterns, but because I'm a silly person, I lost them. So, sadly, that won't happen. Did any of you watch the soccer games? I didn't. I was madly interested, but not enough to watch. I guess unless you give me a reason, to hang out with people or something, but usually I'm like, okay, good for them. I kind of wanted. I was okay with either people team winning. I guess I was a little bit more on Norway's side, for honestly reasons unknown even to me. But I love the people getting disguised, like the English Knights, the the Vikings. I was even practicing my English with the word Norwegians, I guess. Um, may the best person win. Charm says, oh, I have the live chat activated, so it should show in the replay. Currently back home, packing some more and hand stitching the hem of my new dress right now. So it's really nice to hear how you're advancing. Thank you so much. Also, so cool that you know how to do that. I used to know, but I haven't done anything like that in years. That's so nice. I would continuously, I had my skirt and I would be sewing, and then I would sew whatever I was trying to fix to my own skirt, and then I would have to undo that work. It was very annoying. I was very little. So Charm says, I can't catch them all. They're showing some at work though. Oh, yeah, the games. You're moving to England. Charm? Why aren't you rooting for them? I guess I don't know them enough yet. I love their culture so much. I'm just not into soccer that much, I guess. I'm very excited about the libraries though. I really actually want to read lots of English literature. Like if I was an English student almost. Like take it seriously and read it methodically. I think they have beautiful things. Just in soccer, it's just, I think it's, for me, it seems like a different realm I'm not that interested about. So I don't feel disloyal. disloyal. I can be in awe for their culture while not really caring if they win or not on soccer, I think. But you're right that it sounds illogical. I even wondered that myself. I was like, I don't know. Kind of thought that there are a couple of players that I appreciate from both teams, but I have only seen the edits. That's the extent of my knowledge. A very sweet British guy who gave his T-shirt to one of the Mexican players, the youngest one. We have a player that's 17 years old. He was literally graduating recently. And he was so sad when Mexico's team lost. And this very sweet British player felt moved by, I guess, the fact that Mexico's team fought to the end. And he gave his T-shirt to this young player, Mora. So yeah, I like that guy. I have no idea about his name. Sorry. Just one of those sportsmanship things I love, I guess. I love sports in movies and stuff, and sometimes even real life. But I like seeing it up close and to actually know like the feelings. I don't know. That's why I watch sports anime. I want to go into it again, but... and then there's another guy that I find funny, and they were making lots of edits of him. This Haaland something or from Norway, who looks like a Viking Like, he looks like he could be in How to Train Your Dragon, to be honest. And he also seems to have a very sweet friendship with the sweet British guy that gave his t-shirt to this person. So the very little things I know, I think, okay, that's cool. But I guess. So if you have recommendations of books from the English literature, I mean, I guess I will read the classics. I have already read some of them, of course. But before I even say them to the live stream, I will confirm if I'm not being ignorant and they're not from another country, which I doubt. I very much doubt. I mean, I never read them with the idea of, oh, it's English literature. I just read them because I like them. I'm gonna search very fast because it's so ignorant of me that I don't know if this guy is indeed. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, thank goodness. Well, yeah, of course. So I have read, obviously, Charles Dickens, Arthur Conan Doyle. Am I getting mistaken with? No, I'm not. I don't know why I'm having doubts about my own knowledge. And I know I have read so many stories. I mean, I love Jane Austen, obviously. I don't know where this other author that I'm thinking about is from, because he could be from England or the United States. So, who knows? I can tell by how you're calling it soccer. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm using, I guess, American English here, because in Mexico, in Spanish, we do call it football. And it does make a lot of sense because it's with the fucking foot. But I guess I got used to the American English at some point. And I'm very excited about going back to the way I learned English. I don't know if I have already mentioned here, but the way I was taught in school was honestly British English. And we were getting prepared for an exam called the Cambridge Advanced Exam or something like that. Who knows? And I did do that exam. I had like a passable grade. I think I was like literally 1 point away from an A, which was very annoying, but well, whatever. And so they were obviously teaching me the normal way, but then I was realizing that that was not enough. And that's the first time I started doing more consciously or more purposefully language acquisition, which I started watching all these British TV shows in British English without subtitles, and I was understanding half of it, but I didn't care. I had enough patience, which most people wouldn't, I guess, but I don't know why I had it. I think I had no choice, but well, so I practiced watching those shows, and I knew that I was missing parts, but I guess I was so interested in those shows that I didn't care. I think I will learn a lot of what I have consumed is from British media, because I do consume a lot of it, but I have never, I don't know, made it super conscious. It's just like, oh, I'm enjoying this, period. Oh, it's beautiful to see the British countryside. But, it could be made by an American director or something, and I wouldn't know because I'm just seeing the beautiful English countryside, so I don't care. Of course, anything Agatha Christie, I love. I haven't read all of her books. I guess sometimes they do become a little bit like the structure of I guess I don't really the problem is I don't always care about the characters besides the main character, and the ones that have stakes are the characters I don't care that much about. But I have consumed so many stories of Agatha Christie, so really maybe I'm being picky. Have you? Any of you? Cambridge exam is international. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Did you do it too? Yeah, I think it's very cool. I still remember my interview. I was so proud. That was the section where I did the best. It was also because I had opinions that weren't their generic ones. They were asking like, hey, even maybe philosophical. I don't know. I'm gonna not go into it because I don't want to post this to the internet. But yeah, um, I do feel England is beautiful. I'm so sorry I don't care about their sports, nor my sports that much even. It's more like, okay, right now because there's a World Cup and everyone is excited, it's kind of fun. And I do admire the dedication of every player, of course, but I wouldn't be watching otherwise. Like, there's a lot of restaurants that have soccer games in Mexico because people in Mexico love it. And I guess at some point you start to tune it out. Like, once you watch, you have fun. Like, don't get me wrong. I do think it's a fun activity and sport. And even when I played soccer, even though I sucked, obviously, um, I had a lot of fun. I would be running through the whole court because I love to run as well. So, but if you tell me, hey, so you can be watching a movie instead, yeah, well, most likely I would choose the movie. Now, if you tell me, hey, you want to read a book in Spanish or in English, then I would struggle more because it depends on who the author is. Like, of course, I have read many. When I didn't know as much English, I used to read many translations. There's some magic. I mean, some authors do belong in their original language if you can help it. Especially, there are indeed lots of contributions from England. Yeah, I also did that to practice my English. I started reading in English more. And now it's gotten to a point where I don't have any trouble. Is there any book you would recommend? I really want to go to Oxford one day, visit the lamp. I think it's like you can see it, maybe the lamp that C.S. Lewis wrote about in Narnia books, or Tolkien. Also, I think he went to Oxford too with him. Who knows? I just know they were friends, and At least the lamp reference does appear in the Narnia books. That's in Oxford too. They have this. Honestly, if one of them is like being snobby about their history, they have the right audience with me, because I will be like, oh wow, I love history. It's true that they have done so much. My favorite is the moving finger from her. Okay, gonna write it down. Moving finger from. Okay, gonna read that one. Sounds awesome. And Charmed, you're taking the Kai exam in autumn? That's amazing. Good luck. I guess you already have. I just gave away my books of the Kai exam, but yeah, you're gonna do great. You have a great English, especially you're closer to England, right? So you can do words like color. I'm kidding, color with a U. Rick said, hello. Who are people in Mexico rooting for to win the upcoming World Cup? So I think England, actually, maybe. There are people that are divided, of course. I even saw a video the other day. That's the main reason when I install TikTok, I see all the World Cup stuff, and then I uninstall TikTok, and then I don't know anything. And I saw just people do not adore, it seems. Okay, so I'm talking out of what I see, which is not a lot, but it sounds like people do not love Argentina, so they want to root anyone but them. But of course, there are also the ones that are like, but it's Latin America, so you should be rooting for them. But yeah, I think I saw most people rooting for England, which I think is fun. I guess I saw an edit that was fun. That's like, do we root for the guys that they were just making silly references to history, which, just for me to clarify, I'm of the mindset that if you did something years ago, it happened years ago, but well, whatever. Just as a joke, it's funny because the French were, I don't know, how do I say this? This is what happens when I don't know Mexico's history anymore. I mean, I studied it, I forgot parts of it, and now I'm gonna actually listen to podcasts to refresh my memory, because fuck, when it's not relevant to remember something, it's easy to forget. But point is, there were Mexicans fighting, whatever, I don't even know what happened. And then there was this French person, just as a representation, of course, there were a lot of people that were complaining to the government about their businesses being damaged. And the funny thing is that war ended up being called the War of Cakes because of this person, like as a symbolic thing. And at the end of the day, Mexico ended up paying. The French ended up making them, from what I remember. But the game is funny. The name, the War of Cakes. Just because we hadn't paid the French people living in Mexico. So some people are like, okay, do we support those guys? Do we support the guys that colonized us? So the Spain. Do we support England that conquered half of the world? And, there are people making jokes about hiding their historical artifacts so the British Museum doesn't take it. Or, I don't remember what it was, or Argentina, which some people dislike. I don't know anything, so don't ask me why. I do know that some Argentinians are snobby. Shish. And Mexican people do not like that at all. But I don't know enough about their team to know why. Thank goodness. Charm says, I just really want to see England versus France because it will be hilarious. It will, right? Yeah. I think I'm overdoing this. I'm just gonna do the... You know what? I'm gonna do lesson 2 because I'm indeed overdoing this a little. Okay, let's try to finish before the stream ends. Let's get this done. Yeah, so yesterday I was enjoying something that I don't know if I will find in other countries. Presumably I will. Mexican people dancing, singing with such enthusiasm. I have heard that's not that common. People do not dance that much in their own events, or maybe they just have electronic music, whatever the name is. So yeah, soaking everything I can. Me finding out that, at least in my Americans, I have an American husband. And he said that in his family's road trips, nor in his school road trips, there weren't people singing. And in Mexico, we do sing in road trips. You don't have to sing well, you don't have to dance well, you just do it because it's enjoyable. Yeah, he was surprised by that. And I just hope... I honestly don't care about, it's like... I know it's a completely different place to go to another country. I don't have expectations of it being like home. Actually, that's the fun, that it's different. I think many people have this idea that, oh, you will miss terribly your home, but I have been trying to get away from homes for so long. And I'm not a very emotional in that kind type of person. So I'm not worried, honestly. Like, even if I miss it, it's not gonna be crying level of missing it. I think. Okay, I will only be able to prove it until I do it. But this reminds me of the same topic of people saying like you cannot train your answer, like your emotions, and you cannot, you know, train what you will do when you're scared, for example. And I'm like, yeah, well, I have had situations where I can prove that while everyone was crying, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I had a calm demeanor because I had promised myself again. And that's how I became like other people looked for me at me for comfort instead of the other way around in the middle of a situation. I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't have comfort from those situations, but I'm just saying I do think I have a very, very, very good control on my own emotions. Like I'm the type of person that if you get into a fight with me and I'm super angry, I'm not gonna lose control. I'm gonna watch you lose control, maybe. I'll see if it's worth it though, because to win fights sometimes is losing the war. So I know that I need to be more empathetic. But let's just say that I would win arguments precisely because people lose control of their feelings, like they cannot with the overflowing of emotions. And so far, even when it has been difficult, or I haven't scared for my life or people I love, I have managed. So I don't know. That's one of the reasons I think between me getting excited, I had always wanted to get away from where I live. I had always wanted to have yeah, let's not talk about that part. But yeah, I had always wanted to get away. I have wanted to get away for like 16 years. So I'm very, very excited. And I'm going to a beautiful country. I know it's not gonna be the same, especially the food. I know I'm gonna cook lots of Asian food as well. But I don't know. This is a lifelong dream that's happening almost by accident in a way. So I'm not a very, you know how people, okay, let me just tell you the story. And I don't think, I think this makes me sound maybe cold to some people. I have a sister who is very passionate. She's lovely. I love her. And she's always heart wide open into anything. She's, I guess, shown me a lot about how to love. She's very, very lovely. She does lose control to her emotions a lot, but it's just she has some things. But the main thing is she was a good foil to me, I guess, growing up. And she goes away for like, I mean, I just saw her like literally, let's say 1 day ago. And she's the type of person that will be like, I miss you. And I'm like, I just saw you yesterday. So I need a little bit more time for me to miss you. And I don't say it like that, of course, but I feel like people like her do get very offended when I say things like that. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to lie. I do have that in my code, let's say. I always try to say it in a way where I'm not lying. I'm like, oh, I love you too. If you needed a liver. Voice and characters. Hello. Looks nice. Thank you so much for like in the comic. Charm, you're coming to a beautiful continent. I agree. I'm very excited about straight sidewalks. I remember part of why I have gone to Japan at some point, and part of why I was so excited, besides the fact that it's Japan, is that many of the things I adored were just slightly richer country things, like straight sidewalks, a little bit more cleanliness in the general area. Yeah, I love Mexico, but it's fucking full of holes. And I like order, punctuality, responsibility, and myself would say those things. So yeah, it will be fun. I do not like flaky people at all. Can I be friends with flaky people? Sometimes. It depends how flaky they are. Yeah, it's a beautiful continent, I agree. Europe. It's temporary. Supposedly, this thing, I may be there for 2 years. And then, I don't know. I may be there just 1 year, but minimum 1 year. I am very excited. I was even seeing a statistic. Fuck, I'm sorry if I repeat myself. I hope I don't. But that in Mexico City it rains more than in London. The thing is that at least we do have the sun in the morning. I mean, we do have rain every single day in this season, but at least it's just in the afternoon most of the time. We do have the sun coming out. I'm not going to London, by the way, but just as a measure of statistics. And I still have to be approved by the British government, so let's say that's why I haven't said anything. But though probably it will go well, I guess. But I'll respect whatever decision they have, I guess. Of course. It's gonna be fun to have a colder weather, I guess. I like the cold a lot. I like tea. Tea makes a lot of sense when you're in a cold country. Though again, Mexico City is not as hot as people think. Most of the time it's rain and more rain. But I love it. It's fine. We do have, of course, our sunny season. But yeah, people are like, oh, you'll meet rain. Yeah, I think I know rain. I do know it's more constant, like Amsterdam type of rain. I'm looking forward to dressing with autumn clothes more often. I mean, in Mexico City, as I told you, like in the morning it's very cold, then it starts to be hot, then it goes cold again, then it rains. So you have to be dressing with layers that you cannot trust that it will stay consistent. So it would be nice to dress with winter clothes, which are already a little bit more elegant, and to stay with those clothes the whole day, basically. It sounds fun. And I wonder, I mean, in Mexico City, we don't have AC. It's a very foreign concept to me, but I've been hearing that Europe has this very severe heat wave, right? So I'm curious what's the situation in England. And I should know this. I should be looking into that right now, actually this week. But I haven't. Someone asked me, "Hey, do they have AC?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." That's not a reality for me in Mexico either. So, and it doesn't get as hot as other areas of Mexico, of course, but I'm more used to having fans. I mean, you can even see, like, I mean, where I am, there's a fan back there. Oh, fuck. Charm says pavement, MG. It's pavement to you now. Okay, I will learn vocabulary for British words. I'll go back to reading my British writers. It will be fun. I think people will understand me, right? It's like, again, if a Spanish person from Spain comes to Mexico and they say the word piscina instead of alberca, so both of them mean pool. It's just in Spain they call it one way, and in Mexico we call it another, and both of them are Spanish. I wouldn't be correcting them because I understand them. So would British people not understand if I say the other words? I guess they would. Oh, they'll probably correct me, maybe. I guess I'll get used to it. The thing is, I may even end up living in another part of the world, so it feels a little silly to change every single word in English, but yeah, I don't mind. I guess I will start saying couleur. Yes, I just love that joke, sorry. I do think British English is beautiful, by the way. And I have enjoyed many writers, even some that are cancelled right now. So, God. Well, they were part of my practice of English, British English. And I want, honestly, okay, so the shows I was watching, the British shows I was watching to practice my English, you know how I told you, like, I understood just half of it. I'm kind of excited of watching them again, maybe now. Maybe again without subtitles or with English subtitles. I haven't decided. Maybe one episode with subtitles, and then another without. Obviously subtitles in English, by the way, to practice. To get, familiar again with the accent. And I did like these shows a lot, so from what I remember, because I barely understood most of Downton Abbey, honestly. And Sherlock, I also understood like half. But it could be fun to watch them again, having improved a little. Especially Downton Abbey, I couldn't bring myself to finish it after a certain character died. I tried to push through, but then there were more tragic things happening, and I was not in a period of my life where I could take it, so maybe this time I watch and I understand way more. Like by the end of when I stopped watching, I was understanding more English, but at the beginning I struggled a lot. And I still watched it. I was enjoying myself, I guess, enough to do that. Because, there's many people, even my students as a Spanish tutor, they come to talk to me as a way to be hearing native speakers and to practice their ear. Just to practice, to get their ear used to um, to things in that language. It's like, okay, they tell you immersion is the best way, you should go to that country. But let's be frank, most people are not gonna be patient enough to be listening to a broken language. I'm gonna just put an example. Like, many of my students do have friends from Mexico, let's say, but those friends from Mexico are not patient enough to let them speak like a toddler, very slow. And they don't speak that badly to me. I know how to have patience with them. Also, they're paying me, of course, but even without that, of course, I have already like the training, let's say. But many people do not have the patience again. God, why am I having so much trouble in OBS? Okay. Charm says it's not as common because it's difficult to put AC in old buildings. Yeah, I kind of saw them that when you're trying to preserve them. Oh, I love that you're trying to preserve them. Then you do have beautiful architecture in Europe. There's always AC in shops and offices and so on. Oh, okay. Charm says they'll understand and not correct you. I'm just bullying you. Oh, welcome ahead. I do think I'm learning when you do that. I was just worried. You know, because I do speak both Spanish and English a little more fluently, let's say, than, for example, my husband. My husband does speak Spanish very well, but not fluent level yet, like not level I can watch a movie that's spoken very fast. But yeah, for sure I can have a conversation in Spanish. But yeah, then it does end up that I do speak more English than Spanish with people. So I'm the one putting in some effort, but I don't care. I'm used to it right now. I do think it sounds like more effort when you're learning, but when you have already kind of learned, it doesn't. Most of the time, it's fine. I do notice that I start to stumble on my words or lose English grasp if I'm very, very tired at night sometimes. But that almost doesn't happen anymore at this point. I guess being with my husband that speaks English is also practice. But I do have those moments, which I'm very glad that he accepts, where there's an expression I use that doesn't really exist in English. It only exists in Spanish. But it does also kind of maybe make some sense in English. And he observes that as something special of the language, right? Not as something that's like a mistake. It's more like, oh, okay, so you're bringing this idea from one language or one country to another, and that's something cool. For example, something I think is beautiful and maybe corny, but I think it's beautiful, but some people think it's ridiculous maybe, is that in Italy or in Spanish, sorry, Italian or Spanish, there's expression of when you give birth to a baby, you can say to give light. I guess that would be the translation. And obviously that doesn't exist as an expression in English, but I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea that's so normalized in one place. And there are also some useful things. For example, I really love how the concept from Chinese of bedtime procrastination or something. Um, Now it's part of English, but you wouldn't have that idea if at some point, I don't know, something went viral or this idea went viral and it was from a Chinese expression. So I don't know. I think there's value in even struggling sometimes with language to introduce new expressions. Like I say the word accommodate a lot because I guess I use it more in Spanish. I wonder, do you have experiences like that? Do any of you speak languages and use it continuously? I love language learning, by the way, and I'm very into history and culture. I don't know nearly enough, though. I want to fix that. It's gonna be so much fun to explore British history while being in England if I do end up there. It would be amazing. Well, everyone, I think I went to. I mean, I still have my energy a little from me waking up, but we did progress a little with the comic. So hopefully I'll advance a little faster so you get to see the story a little bit more. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next Sunday if you're willing, and good luck with your projects. Bye. I should say a special bye to Charm, Voices and Characters, Rixa. Good luck, everyone.